Well, welcome to another episode of Bargain Bin Saturdays, and this week I'm covering Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. And yes, each of these movies is individually sold in the $5 bin now at Walmart, though I got them all 8 movies in two 4 movie collections for $10 a piece, so $20 total. Though I also feel a bit hard pressed to talk about these movies as movies, because let's face it, if you're going to talk about the Harry Potter movies, you're really talking about how successful they are as an adaptation of a literary work. And I don't know if you really could have done much better with Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, to be honest. Yes, there's scenes that have been deleted and removed. Some of them pivotal or highly memorable. Like, we don't hear Dumbledore talk about how even if he could remove Harry's curse scar, he wouldn't. Which becomes more relevant when you get to later in the series, because it's basically Dumbledore admitting that even if he could have saved Harry from having to commit suicide at Voldemort's hand, he wouldn't do so, which leaves all kinds of interesting connotations floating around when you think about it. There's other scenes that also get the axe as well. Like, you don't hear Griff Hook, or however you pronounce his name, the Goblin, talk about how if a non-Gringotts employee had tried to get into that vault, they get where the Sorcerer's Stone was being stored, they would have been stuck there probably for years. At least most normal witches and wizards would have been. Obviously, we can't discount the power of Voldemort here, or Lord Flight from Death, as we like to call him usually, or Moldy Shorts, and so on. I mean, we like to insult the villain, despite the fact that he killed a lot of people, because, let's face it, it helps relieve tension when you undermine your villain's threat levels by making fun of his stupid name. But there's also scenes that are added in that weren't in the books, like Hagrid delivering Harry to the train. Obviously, this was done to speed up the movie, because, let's face it, at 2.5 hours, this movie is rather long. It's trying to cover a lot of material, though. I mean, it has to try and fit in hundreds of pages worth of material in a book into a movie and condense it down enough to where it's enjoyable for audiences to watch, while not being so lengthy it begins to push them away. And even at 2.5 hours, I started losing interest in the movie about the midway point somewhat, because it's just so long, it's covering material I've been through so many times. So I guess you could argue that the movie can become a bit boring because it just can't go through this material as fast as I could necessarily read it. Though I read much faster than some people do. There's obviously people that read a lot faster than I do and could probably crunch the entire book in less time than it takes to watch the movie. But I also feel that if you watch the movies and never read the books, you're missing out on things as well. Like I said, that whole curse scar scene was dropped, and it can be rather interesting point to discuss in the grand scheme of things. Though having Hagrid drop Harry off the train station raises its own questions somewhat, because he doesn't tell Harry how to get onto the train, because that's still kept like it was in the books. Though we got to miss out on the Dursleys driving away laughing at Harry because he's trying to find a platform number as far as they're concerned that doesn't exist. Actually, my bigger question is, how does sneaking onto the platform work, as there's so many people around in the books, but even in the movie, that doesn't make much sense for the platform to be hidden the way it is. Though I guess this is what Notice Me Not charms and whatnot are for, right? Even though we don't really discuss them until much later on in the series that much. But it does make you wonder how no one notices, unless they have charms or something there. Obviously, we're getting into details about the nature of magic within that universe, and it's not as interesting to discuss by yourself. But I guess overall, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone is definitely one of the better film adaptations of a book I've ever seen. And I just don't have much to talk about them as movies, because like I said, at the end of the day, all I really care about is if it's a good adaptation of the novel. If you want my thoughts on the rest of the series, leave a comment. Otherwise, I'll probably move on to something else. I might eventually watch The Deathly Hallows, because I've seen the other movies except for those two. Maybe you could bug me about saying I should probably just give an opinion on those two, because at least I'm talking about something I haven't read yet or seen yet. Until then, see ya.